Earlier, I was listening to the recording I made with Joe Lozano. He was a Midland Sheriff candidate in a recent election for the sheriff. And Gary Painter died last year, and that's why they did that. But, anyways, on this recorded phone call, he tells me that Painter's hideout was the underground facilities that's believed to, be connected with the prostitution parties, the pedophile parties, the murder of the young girl at the old show party, and of course the capital attempted murder of my life, the murder of the previous owner of this house, and even more crimes. And so, anyways, I was thinking about back when he died, and I looked that up, and that was in May 26th last year. So here's how you can go back to your timeline. I went to 2019 because see, I remember posting uh, a meme right just a few hours before he died, and it had to do with anybody that breaks into a home and shoots unsuspecting homeowner is a danger to everybody and so today I thought, oh well, let me go back to my timeline. That's what I did. I'm back looking at May 2019. He died on the 26th, so there's May 29th, and I'm looking at my Facebook post. There's May 27th. Okay, there's May 27th. Okay, I don't know. And there's May 25th. And I was like, what? May 25th? May 27th? Where's May 26th, the day he died? And yet everybody knows I post multiple times every single day. I have for years. It looks like somebody hacked into my Facebook and they deleted the post from that day, May 26, 2019, the day that Gary Painter died. I thought, oh, ain't that interesting, And here's his obituary, and so I pulled that up and I'm looking at his history, and he was one of the longest sheriffs ever in Texas, I think he come from Presidio down south by the border, and as you'll see here in a minute, other people have told me rumors that they believe that Gary Painter was involved in trafficking, and of course that would come down south from the border, and I'm going to show you this one. This one's a little rude. I don't know this person. I just seen it on my Facebook timeline one day. But it's basically saying Gary Painter's crooked. And I just took a screenshot of that, and I don't know how she would know that other information. But unless he was hanging out in the underground facility, right? In the hideout. I guess we'll call it Painter's hideout. That's what Joe Lozano called it, Painter's hideout. And so Rusty Fowler here, he says, I remember stories of how the sheriff got caught with 2.5 tons of cocaine one time and 10 bales of weed another time, and never no charges filed on him. Instead, they gave him several $1 million to upgrade his crime ring. And he was talking about Painter at the time. And a lot here, my reply was a few minutes after I was shot by surprise and then crawled out to save my life. The first 2 secret police seen on camera that showed up was Martin County Sheriff and John Woodward, and you can see them down there in the bottom, and I've got this video from my security cameras. I had just crawled out from having, being shot with my phone lines cut, and left and went to get help. And these 2 first police, it took 6 years to get them identified. And, the first one to show up was a sheriff from a different county, and the second one was a sheriff deputy, Mike Naylor, and he worked for Gary Painter at the sheriff's office, and then he ends up dying in the line of duty in 2014. Naylor does, and and it's been hid from the public all this time. The press and the police have hid that from the public. That Naylor was at my home. He was a secret police that I had offered a $2,000 reward to get him identified. 6 years of death threats trying to get them secret police identified. Because I had pictures. I didn't have any names. And so, but that was interesting. And then I can show myself, because I can't talk to, Gary Painter, dealing drugs or nothing. But multiple people had told me that, and I'll say that. And, but I can go to my email and do a search for Gary Painter's email. And I had 27 fact-filled emails, I mean, it was just, of course, that's the same thing I get if I send this evidence to the mayor, the city council, the chief of police, and others. It's the same, just incredible obstruction of justice, cover up of multiple murders, and the crimes going on here. There's a bigger picture that shows Naylor when he first showed up, and so and I think I'll just let you listen to this other little clip there where Joe Lozano was telling me that the underground facility was Painter's Hangout. And so it made me wonder, especially with Naylor showing up, the second person to show up at my house. And I wonder if Gary Painter was here on the night I shot. Was Gary Painter at the old show parties? Was Gary Painter have anything to do with the suspected murder of Mike Lawhon?
Gary Painter hide all that.
See, and I know everybody loves Painter around here.
I know.
But I tell you what, I can show you the emails. I can provide you the emails I sent Painter. I can provide the emails I've sent to McKinney and Haim and the other one, Kreiner there, or the ones I've contacted, and because I keep records, and that I tell you what, and I go after big people. On my Facebook post today, which I don't know if you have a big Facebook presence, but I showed an email that I sent to Attorney General Abbott in 2013. Actually, the reason I did, because it was dated from today, from January 31st, 2013. That was a year after I was ambushed and shot. And
you were what? Excuse me, you were what?
I was ambushed and shot inside my home.
Oh, you're kidding. Inside your home?
Oh, you didn't read the story then, I guess. Okay.
I haven't. I don't know nothing.
You don't know anything. Okay, I'm sorry.
I've been running out there campaigning. I've been putting out signs.
Oh, okay. I got you. I tell you what. Then I was misunderstood. Here, I'll tell you what. I just sent this to your son. Okay, and that's why I thought you had read this. And but I'll tell you what. Let me, if you don't mind, I'll just read it to you real quick, and that'll get you caught up. Okay. Okay. And I sent this to your son just less than an hour ago. Tunnels and underground facilities in Midland, Texas. Mr. Lozano, I transferred to Midland with hope and excitement and spent my life savings on the American dream, my home, without knowing it was rigged for crime and racketeering. It's been a nightmare that won't end. I sincerely believe that if you expose these crimes, of which there's plenty of evidence, it will easily ensure that you get elected. I've contacted the other candidates and nothing has happened. I transferred to Midland in 2008 with a large oil company, which was DCP Midstream. I hired on with Phillips back in '83. I was a 25-year employee, and I buy a home at 3802 Fair Circle, where the young previous homeowner, Mike Lawhon, had just died. I've since found evidence which has convinced me that he was murdered here. This happened before the week of the 2008 Permian Basin International Oil Show, which I believe is important and connected to his death. In 2010, my friend at work told me about a young girl that was murdered at a large party going on during the week of the oil show because she had refused to prostitute. I have reason to believe this murder happened in some underground facility said to be near my home. These wild parties, which are put on by wealthy oilfield people, are famous. In January 2012, I reported a suspected smuggling tunnel to the DEA that I believe was going from my home in Midland to a nearby trucking lane behind the Home Depot store where I was seeing suspicious trucker traffic. Since then, I was told by 2 store employees that prostitution was going on behind their store, and I saw a young girl at the sleeper cab of an 18-wheeler while driving by one day. I suspected child sex trafficking, the fastest growing crime in America. 2 weeks later, my phone lines were cut, and somebody under my home shoots me. I crawled out on my hands and knees to survive this murder attempt. When I returned from the hospital, and now crippled, I found pictures of people dressed like police at my home that I couldn't identify because the police report was withheld from me. I nicknamed them the Secret Police, and I offered a $2,000 reward. This was the first time in the history of America that a crime victim has offered a reward to identify police. A few weeks before the murder attempt, the ex-wife tells me with 100% sincerity, the secret is that a group of doctors are killing people for profit. But what she didn't tell me was that her brother-in-law was a doctor, and he was the ER doctor on the night that I was shot. Triple proof shows they faked my x-rays at the hospital by taking the x-rays of a guy suspected of being shot 11 days before me and then putting my name on them. This other guy was missing his heel bone, so they cut my heel bone off to match the faked x-rays. This was done because they were claiming I had shot myself when that is not what happened. Absolute proof has been found showing this. Somebody under my home shot me. 6 years of death threats, slander, repeated break-ins to my home, and many people asking, suggesting, or ordering me to sell my home and move go by before the 11 secret police were identified by a private investigator. That didn't happen until 2018. This crime ring has been trying to terrorize me into selling my home at the price they said, of course. When I fell to the ground that night, all I had was this crazy story of people breaking into my attic and somebody under my home shooting me. But now I have proof that I wasn't shot with my gun, proof of many other homeowners in Midland, Odessa, Texas, and other states reporting somebody in the attic, and proof of many people saying that tunnels and or underground facilities are near my home. I secretly recorded a woman on the phone who told me there were 4 3-bedroom underground homes that are 25 foot deep, and each of them cost over $1 million. She told me they were having pedophile parties in these underground homes. This is posted to my YouTube channel, that phone call. Another woman told me that she worked on the underground project, which was finished in 1987 while Bush was vice president. The Bushes are from Midland and were in the oil field business. She said the total project cost was $7.35 million. I have a screenshot of her telling me this. A guy named Ricky Ronaldo tells me that he used to live in my home, and him and his brother used to go in the tunnels under it. I have a screenshot of him saying this. A woman named Rhonda Denman Rogers tells me that the underground facility is a half block away, and I also have a screenshot of this statement. She didn't say it was 1.5 blocks, so she knew exactly where it was at. A few months ago, a woman told me to go look at my address at 3802 Fair Circle on Google Maps, and I see a large facility in my backyard on the block map that can't be seen from above ground. Google Historical Maps shows what looks like a large tunnel ditch was cut coming from the back of Home Depot aimed directly at my home. Anybody can see this right now. Earlier this year, I find out there was a police report all along, but the names on it didn't match the names provided by the private investigator, nor did they match the timestamps on the cameras. 2 of the law enforcement officers seen, Naylor and Simpson, and that is Mike Naylor, late Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor, and Midland Canine Police Officer Chad Simpson, both died within 2 months of each other, and their names were not found on this heavily falsified police report, except they were caught on camera and identified. All of their names are posted online. 5 police officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, were listed as being at or in my home, but they were not seen arriving on the front security cameras, and this told me they were under my home. It's suspected they were at an underground party, and very possibly one of them was the shooter, aka would-be killer, that shot me. Additional evidence was found showing that I had unknowingly trapped a burglar in my home on the same day. Not all things are known, but the facts are the facts. So we can be sure that tunnels and underground facilities are here, and we can be sure that I didn't shoot myself. It's not my word against their word. I have the security camera pictures, videos, police reports, medical records, ballistic evidence, screenshots, and recorded conversations posted online. Please take the time to watch these, and I'll be sure you're convinced this lawlessness has to stop. And I sent you links to 4 different videos that are fact-filled, just incredible videos that show the evidence, because it's one thing to just tell a story, but it's a whole other thing when I'm showing you that, that the size of pellets are 2.5 times the size is different than the size of pellets that were in my gun, or the fact that I had pictures of these police, and I took these pictures and I sent them to the mayor and the city council and to Sheriff Painter and to the chief police, who was Robinson at the time, and nobody would identify them. That's what forced me to offer a reward, and of course that.
Buddy.
Uh-huh.
Buddy. you know, that was Painter's hideout thing. Okay? And the hail, the
how the buildings underground that he was talking about, it was not 1 million, it was actually 4, and they're actually homes.
That are underground?
3-bedroom, yes, they're 3-bedroom homes. Even asked him, I asked him about the pizza parties. They said they're not called pizza parties, but I know what you're talking about.
Right, the pedophile parties.